Hello and welcome to Writer Rant, author advice in 5 minutes or less because I have to get back to writing and so do you. So last year, one of the episodes I talked about community and in writing how a good community really kind of draws people together, draws out the writer's blocks and draws in great ideas for plot twists and characters and all that kind of stuff. And that's great, and that's something that I actually saw in my National Novel Writing Month region this last year, and it was great. We had a tight-knit group of people, probably about 10 to 20, which was actually pretty good considering past few years have kind of been loose hit or miss people. We've kind of been developing that community. The trick is that, okay, that's for 1 month, and after that you kind of don't see these people anymore. And so in these months here, January, February, March, especially after National Novel Writing Month, you really want to sit down and you want to say, okay, I had a really good book here. I know there's some weak spots. I know there's some polishing I need to do, but where do I go? It's like the community has vanished, and sometimes, yeah, you can find another community. You can find, a peer review community and whatnot, and if you can, by all means, go with it. The trick is that what it really comes down to in both types of community is accountability. A lot of times, especially if you get to know someone, you get to know a fellow writer, it's a matter of, well, hey, they've got this great story, you'd want to read that story, you think it's great, but they still have to get through the polishing, they still have to get through the editing and the beta readers and all the accoutrement that goes with getting a book ready to either query or self-publish or whatever. And so, as a result, it's like, okay, you need to be a cheerleader. And if you're a writer, you need cheerleaders too. You need people not only to keep cheering you on to say, hey, it's a great book, I look forward to reading it, but you need people to say, hey, how's it going? Where are you on your project? Those kind of things. Because when it comes down to it is, back at the beginning of 2018, sure, a bunch of writers are like, I'm going to get back to writing every day. I'm going to, polish up my manuscript. And, those resolutions are great, but unless you have somebody to actually go back and say, hey, how is that thing going? How, keep you accountable. And it's just not going to happen, because unless somebody else knows your goals, they might not happen. Because, otherwise it's goals in your head, goals that you've written down, goals that nobody else has seen. It's like, well, great, you can track that, and you can, there are plenty of people who can do that by themselves. But it's so much better when, for instance, you're trying to go to the gym, and so you get a gym buddy, and you get somebody who's keeping you accountable. Same thing in writing, is just get somebody to say, hey, I've got my creative project, like I'm writing a book, or I'm doing something else, I'm learning to play the piano, or whatever, some creative goal, and create just a accountability partner with that creative purpose in mind to kind of say, hey, you know what, this world is so much better when people create things. And so as a result of that, then you really need that accountability in order to finish what you start, because a lot of times a lot of distractions will come in. There's bills to be paid and maintenance on your house or condo and homework if you're in school and children and your spouse or whatever. I mean, there's tons of stuff that's taking up our time. But unless we have somebody that's kind of nagging voice in the back of our head saying, hey, where are you? Hey, did you get that next scene edited? Then, our stuff, our creative endeavors might just fall by the wayside just due to convenience. So, how about you? Do you have an accountability partner, especially when you're writing or when you're editing, keep you on track in order to keep you towards that goal of getting something done? Drop a comment below. Tell us how that works out for you. Tell us if there's any groups out there that you think might be useful. And if there's anything else out there that kind of frustrates you about the writing process, or if you're a reader and you notice something, drop a comment below and maybe I'll get to it in a future episode. Thank you for watching this week's Writer Rant. I'm Benjamin M. Weilert.